over the 40 years that I was there is the program was such a consistent winner and made so many postseason tournaments that I think that made the program, to me, stand out.
I'm Ira Thor. I am the Director of Sports Information at New Jersey City University. I've been here since August 2000, and this is my 13th year at the university. In my opinion, the most successful sports program in the history of the athletic department, men or women, has been the men's basketball team historically. The men's basketball team is the oldest and proudest program at the university. It began in 1932, was the first year of men's basketball. The 2012-13 season was the 80th year of competition, actually. And the NJAC, New Jersey Athletic Conference, formed in the late 1950s. The men's basketball team has won the most NJAC championships of any team in the history of the conference, with 12. The championship era really began in the 1960s. The head coach early in the 60s was Ollie Gelston. His most prized player was Charlie Brown.
I got the opportunity to play 3 years of basketball here at New Jersey City University, and my coach was Ollie Gelston, who was an outstanding coach. And to be honest with you, especially defensively, that's where I learned the game from. Before coming here to Jersey City State, I played the game, and I was a pretty good athlete, but I didn't really know the game. I was taught by one of the best coaches, I think, in the state of New Jersey, and Ollie Gelston.
Ollie was the head coach during the 1960s when they won their first NJAC championships, and he coached until the mid to late 1960s when he went to Montclair State. Ollie Gelston is in the Hall of Fame here as a head coach. When he left, the head coach who took over was Larry Shiner.
I got the job sort of in the summertime when Coach Ollie Gelston, who was the coach before me, left to go to Montclair State, and Athletic Director Tom Garrity lived in the summertime at a summer home. And he was looking for a coach, and he called the University of Maine and talked to my coach, and he recommended me, and I went for an interview with Tom. We drove down to Jersey City State College, and I decided to take the job in 1967.
Larry went on to coach the program for, I believe, 8 years.
Coming into Jersey City, I had a lot about the politics involved in Jersey City, etc. And when I was in Maine at the high school, we had most of our games on television, and when I came to Jersey City State and walked into the gym, I couldn't believe what at that time I considered a poor facility compared to where I'd come from high school. And there were a number of veteran players returning to the squad when I got there, so I didn't have a chance to recruit because I didn't come there until really the fall. But I was left with some pretty good talent from Coach Gelston.
He later was inducted in the Hall of Fame as well. He led the program to a number of conference championships, and he finally stepped aside in 1977 to become the athletic director at NJCU. He served as AD for 30 years. As he transitioned into athletic administration, Paul Weinstein became the head coach. Weinstein, a former player at the school, was also a very successful head coach. He led the team to the 1979 and 1980 NCAA Division III Elite Eight. He coached probably the best player in the history of the program, Brett Wyatt, and Weinstein served as head coach until the 1981-82 season. Paul Weinstein also was inducted in the Hall of Fame.
Actually, the first time I applied here, I didn't get the job. I was at Lincoln High School, and I had a pretty good high school career. I applied for the job, I think it was after Larry Shiner left, who was the former athletic director. He decided to be the athletic director. He decided he was going to give up the basketball. I applied for the position, didn't get it. Paul Weinstein then became the basketball coach for 4 years.
He left a a real good tradition behind him, and he decided to go into private industry, and then left the position open.
Paul Weinstein decided to change jobs, and he was leaving the area, and so they needed a coach. In fact, Paul Weinstein is one of the people who called me up and asked me if I would consider taking a job, since I was an alumnus, and I still supported the university, even though I was coaching at the high school. So I applied for the job, and I was very happy that I was selected.
Charlie graduated, I think, 3 years or 4 years before I got there. But I know his reputation because his name was mentioned to me continuously when I came there as one of the best players that the college has ever had, if not the best player. And his reputation in the state of New Jersey as a player was outstanding.
In 1982, Charlie Brown, who we mentioned before as the best player from the 1960s, returned to his alma mater. He was a successful high school coach at nearby Lincoln High School. Joined the program in 1982-83, coached for 25 years, and retired after the 2006-07 season.
I was an alumnus of the school. I thought it was time to move up from the high school ranks. In fact, I questioned myself initially because I had one of the best teams that Lincoln High School ever had. The year before I left, we went over 20 games, and I had 15 out of 16 players coming back. So I thought twice about the coaching, but you know, the natural progression is for you to move up and to be able to play at your alma mater and to coach at your alma mater. That was something that was special for me.
Being from Jersey City, being an outstanding high school coach, and recruiting is a big factor. He had a lot of great contacts in Hudson County, so he was the obvious choice for the job if he wanted it. And he started out as a part-time coach because he was a principal at one of the schools in Jersey City, and eventually down the road when he retired from principalship, we took him on as a full-time coach.
My first year, we had 9 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and 1 senior. And in passing, one of the guys told me that Mr. Shiner, who was the athletic director at the time, felt that we were only win 4 or 5 more games, but that I could take the program and move it up. It worked out even better than I thought. In fact, we won 18 games that year. We went to the conference championship game, and we won the ECAC championship. And this is with, with those 9 freshmen. So I was really pleased how things work out. The young men that I had worked really hard for me, and I had a senior leader named Bill Martin, and he just was a great leader, and I think that helped me that particular year.
My dad, when he did get the job here, I do remember coming to practices, and I remember, because I was obviously young, but I remember seeing the talent here and being impressed, to be honest with you, especially back then. My dad had some pretty good players. He inherited a decent team, but in his first 3 or 4 years, he really brought in some pretty good players.
Well, by the time I got here, the kids had been coming to all the practices because they came to the practice at Lincoln High School. In fact, I ran little leagues. I was a teacher at PS number 14 in Jersey City, and so that the guys got the opportunity to play, I ran little leagues, and I ran them for the kids. So they would come to Lincoln High School practices. So once I came over here, they would come to the practice. They met the guys. They knew all the guys on the team and everything. So it was great. It's a family atmosphere here at Jersey City State. That's New Jersey City University, I have to say. But that's always been what I liked about this university. It's always been a family atmosphere type.
Charlie Brown, who is one of only 2 individuals in the history of the school to be inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2 categories, inducted initially in 1979 as a player, and then inducted in 2011 as a coach. Coached for 25 years, as we said, led the team to 13 NCAA tournaments out of his 25 years. They reached the postseason in every one of his 25 years. They never had a losing season, ever.
Actually, my first year was a great year. We won the ECAC championship and went to the finals in the conference championship. And I think about that a lot because it got me off to a good start because expectations weren't high for the team that year.
Well, obviously, I remember both Final Fours because I was there. I went to the Final Four in Michigan in '86. They played at Calvin College. And the second Final Four was, I believe, '92. And I went to both Final Fours. So, I mean, as a coach, he's had so many accomplishments, but I think if you ask him, those are probably two of his favorites. He's won obviously various conference championships, but to get to a Final Four was pretty difficult. So for him to do it twice, that was pretty amazing.
Hi everybody, Doug Wisger for Jersey City State College Sports, and I'm standing here in a jam-packed Calvin College in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and the setting is the NCAA semifinal game between the Jersey City State Gothics with a record of 26-5 against the Potsdam State Bears, who come in with an unblemished 30-0 record.
86. The 86 conference championship. That was my first conference championship, and that team went to the Final Four, and we lost to the eventual national champion. And to be honest with you, we had them on the ropes.
The 1989-90 team, I believe, was the highest ranked team men's basketball ever had. They were ranked as high as number 3 in the country, but were upset in the NCAA tournament.
The 1990 team, we won the conference championship, and to be honest with you, I thought that team should have won the national championship, but we had a hiccup. One of the teams that we had beaten twice during the year upset us in the NCAA tournament. But we were fortunate, we came back in 92 and won the conference championship again and went to the Final Four again.
The 1992 team, 91-92 team, was the second team to make the Final Four. They actually beat that year Salisbury State in the Elite Eight. They were ranked number 2 in the country at the time.
Special team was the 93 team, which because we lost all the players from the previous year, and we started out and we thought initially it was going to be our first losing season, and we ended up winning our last 9 games and won the ECAC championships.
Well, the school was engaged in the first ever losing season of the school history, and we just came in mid-year, and we just realized that this is history. This is a traditional program. Like, we've been good for years, so we decided as a team, with the motivation of the coaches, just to go out and play hard as we can play. We ended up winning the ECAC championship that year. 95
team, we had, like my first year, a lot of freshmen. We ended up winning the conference championship. 2004, we won the conference championship.
The court was dedicated as Coach Charlie Brown Court on November 15th, 2008. It was a joint project between Alumni Relations and the Athletic Department to honor Charlie for his long career. And when you think of New Jersey City University for many, many years, basically 5 decades, Charlie Brown and NJCU have been synonymous. He's the one individual that really stands out as the top representative about what's great about this university.
Well, he was obviously touched and honored by it. I really don't know whose decision it was. I do know ISID here, Ira Thor, had a lot to do with it.
Who will assist us in today's unveiling and naming. In front of the NJC men's basketball bench is head men's basketball coach Mark Brown.
I was just told that it was going to happen. But when it did happen, it was like unbelievable to me. Because usually when you have things named after you, you have to give a lot of money to the schools and different things like that. And to have the court named after me, I mean, that was something special. That's something that never can be taken away from you. I'm really honored and I'm humbled by it too, because I know we had a lot of success, but for people in this university to think enough of me to name a court after me, just really humbled me.
It's an amazing honor. I mean, even now, when I'm coaching sometimes, because his name is right in front of our bench, when I look down and realize where I am, and the fact that my father's name is on the floor is pretty amazing.
Well, it's so funny now, it's been so long, I don't notice as much until somebody says, oh, your name is on the court. But it's nice, I mean, you're proud, because you feel like you worked hard all your life to accomplish something, to establish a program, and for the court to be named after you, you have some success, and it's been great. And then especially to have your son come on as the basketball coach to follow in your path, that's just a wonderful way to feel.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
something that he's very proud of. How can you not be? You know, it's something that very few individuals in their lifetime in college athletics ever have the opportunity to have a court named in their honor, specifically at their alma mater. The Hall of Fame was started in 1979. The goal was to honor the greatest student athletes, coaches, staff, and contributors to the athletics program and to celebrate its history. Obviously, Hall of Fames are prevalent throughout the country, and the NJCU Athletics Hall of Fame currently has 130 plus individuals inducted. 44 of them are associated with the men's basketball program in some capacity, either as a player, a coach, or as a contributor. And it just goes to show just a rich tradition of the program. That's such a huge allotment of the Hall of Fame is made up and comprised of former men's basketball players. The latest induction in the Hall of Fame took place on April 5th, 2013. There was a 5-member class. 2 of those members are actually members of the basketball program. Both of them played for head coach Charlie Brown, and Coach Brown did the induction and introduction for both of those players, and had some good stories to tell about their careers. Everybody told stories about how Coach Brown, he preached a lot of things. One of them was the importance of being on time. George Thomas told a story about how when they were in France on a trip where they played some of the club teams in France, that several players from the men's and women's team was late returning from one of the museums and got left in Paris and had to find their own way back to the hotel.
Well, as far as being on time to away games and home games for that matter, he gave you a time the day before, you know, and that time, there's no room for error with that time. If you're not there, you know, things go on without you.
Well, it's been interesting, and people who are not in coaching don't understand the things that the coach goes through individually with their players, because some of the players come with a lot of baggage, and it's your responsibility to guide them, to teach them to be responsible adults.
Well, that's the one thing my dad told me when I took over here. He said, look, you're going to be a coach, a father, big brother, psychiatrist, and he was right. You know, when you're coaching at this level, and this area has something to do with it too. A lot of these young people have real problems. And to be honest with you, when I first got the job, wasn't really ready to deal with those issues. You know, my thing was just to come in here and coach basketball, but it's a lot more than that. We really preach family atmosphere here, and if you're gonna, you know, I realized pretty quickly that I had to practice what I preached. So between my staff and I, we've done with some real issues. Probably too many to talk about now, but obviously guys have a lot of things going on. I think it has a lot to do with society now. Things are different.
Our philosophy off the court is to give kids an opportunity, number one, because a lot of our kids wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if they had to come to NJCU. To make sure that they get the education that they're coming here for. And I always tell the guys, my philosophy is that you go to school, that's your first priority. Basketball is your second priority, and socially is your third.
He made us wear collared shirts all the time. Never hats on in the building, always hat to the front, not to the back, pants up, shirt tucked in, and that was the rule. You had to wear dress clothes to go to the games, and I bought my first pair of shoes on my own without no assistance from my parents because I was playing here for Coach Brown.
And I try to explain to them that you can do all these things. Anytime that they need help with anything, that we make ourselves available to them. And I try to treat all of my players alike in terms of being responsible and being accountable to help them out. And that's what I like, once again, about New Jersey City University. You can get the help that you need. I've made quite a few friends here outside of the athletic department who were able to give me some help, whether it's be in the academic field or in the social field for the school.
Charlie retired with 483 victories. He won, I believe, 6 NJAC championships, and the court was named after him in 2008. His 483 career victories was the second most in the history of NCAA Division I, II, or III basketball in the state of New Jersey at the time of his retirement. And Charlie, when he retired, and having retired as the coach of the only two teams that made the Final Four in 1986 and 1992, when he did retire after the 06-07 season, his son Mark became the head coach, and Mark Brown has been the head coach of the program for 6 years now and led the team to the 2011 NJAC Championships, which made it an even dozen.
4 or 5 years before I retired from playing, I kind of started to get the coaching bug. I kind of knew I wanted to coach as soon as I hit about 31. Obviously, I know some coaches, had some people that kind of, contacted me about coming and joining their staff as an assistant at the Division I level. I didn't really want to do that, to be honest with you. After playing 15 years professionally, did a lot of traveling back and forth. I was starting my family. I wanted to be somewhere, stable and in this area, to be honest with you. And during this time, my dad was getting tired of coaching. Basically he coached for 41 years when you add the high school to college. So I knew he was thinking about retiring, and it just was timing.
I had 41 years in coaching altogether. I had an opportunity for my son, when he finished his pro career, to come into coaching with me. Because of the nepotism rule, you can't bring your relative on and be a direct supervisor. So I knew he was interested in coaching. I thought he could do a great job. He had some experience coaching my players in the summer league and so forth. So I decided the best way to do it was for me to step down to give him an opportunity. Oh, no problem. I felt great about it. Anytime you as a coach, any father can that's what you do. You do as a parent. You want to leave something for your children, and for me be able to have him established, well, not established because the program was already established, but continue the program as it was. That was a great feeling to me. There was no doubt in my mind that he could do it. In fact, I'm the one who talked him into coaching, because I don't think initially he was thinking about coaching. But there was no doubt in my mind, and it's proved to be successful because he's had a successful tenure here so far at the university. But as a father, you come into the games and watch my son work the sidelines, I mean, you can't have a better feeling.
Obviously, my father had a career that's pretty tough to follow. I mean, he's some pretty big shoes to fill. So I tell people all the time, if I can just be half the coach and have half the success he had, then I did a great job.
As far as a change in the coaching styles, there's none. It's no difference. I think we got the best candidate during that possible time, which was Coach Brown's son.
When you look back at team success, and it's funny, my dad won his first NJAC title in his 4th year, and I won mine 2 years ago in my 4th year, so that was pretty special for me and my family. We're always, like I told you, we're trying to have a winning record. That's the #1 goal, and the second goal is to make the postseason, whether that's win the NJAC conference and go to the NCAA tournament, or achieve an ECAC bid. That's really the goal, and I've been here 6 years, and I've reached that goal 5 times out of my 6 years, so I'm pretty happy about that. Individual stuff is obviously nice, but I don't really get into that too much.
Mark's had a great career so far, 6 years. They've been in the postseason most of the seasons. They won the 2011 NJAC Championship and made the NCAA tournament. He was named the Atlantic Region Coach of the Year that season by D3Hoopz.com. This year, 2013, he was named the NJAC Coach of the Year for the first time in his career, and was also named the Met Basketball Writers Coach of the Year.
Well, it was a tough start. We were expecting a better start to the season. We lost some major pieces from last year's team.
Team started out with a 0-7 record in the NJAC, and they were 4-9 on the year, and I think they won 11 of their final 13 games to not only finish above 500 and have a winning record and make the ECAC tournament before going to the semifinals. We believe they became the first team in the history of NCAA Division III basketball, men or women, to make a conference postseason tournament after starting the year 0-7.
We basically lost 3 starters right before the season started, so that hurt, and we had a pretty slow start to the season. Obviously, as a coach, starting off 0-7 in the conference and 2-9 overall was pretty tough, but the guys never quit, and to ask a true freshman, an 18-year-old young man to come in and kind of carry the team was a lot. And Khalid, he really stepped up to the challenge. He was our best scorer.
Khalid Muhammad, outstanding. He's one of the best freshmen that come into this university in quite a while. He's a great young man. He does a great job, and he's got 3 or 4 other guys with him that are also freshmen. And I think that the program is just moving up and up.
As far as the talent on this team this year, I'm really big on Khalid Muhammad. Very, very talented individual. And thus far in the classroom, he's been very impressive. So look like we're going to have him for a long time. And I'm really excited to see the records that he could potentially break.
I was looking at him pairing up with Walik, with a couple other players. We lost some guys to injury.
This season was surprising. It was a ride because we started out, we thought we had people coming back from last year, plus the people we had this year, and we lost people to different circumstances, and then we lost Wawa, who we thought we had coming back. So we just had to get it together, and people didn't think we were going to do nothing really, but we just played, we stuck together. Just sticking together and just coming in every day and just listening, coaching, executing, and doing what we're supposed to do.
Some other personal problems a couple of guys had, and we really started the season with an inexperienced team, but the guys never quit. We just fought and fought, and I think the turnaround game was at Rutgers Camden in early January. We had a big win. Rondre Kelly joined us second half of the season. Obviously, he helped. He brought, he brought some added scoring, scoring that we desperately needed. And once he joined the team, we just took off. And once we started winning some games, I think guys started to believe in themselves. And the seasons go pretty quickly, and the chemistry came together, and we put it together pretty quickly. I just wish the season was a little longer, but we put it together, finished 500 in the conference, over 500 overall. It was able to get an ECAC bid.
We made it to our conference playoffs this year. We got into the last. I don't think it was the last spot, but the last couple spots. We got into. It was the last spot. Got into the last spot, and it was great for me because I've played a lot of basketball, played a lot of places, but I never made it into the conference playoffs for the school I played for. So I was a first, and then the fact that we missed it last year by the 1 game made it even better. And then we come to find out we had to play Stockton, and then from down there, I really felt inclined to go down there and do damage.
When my dad was here, there were times when Ramapo was the biggest rival, William Patterson. But since I've been here since 2007, our biggest rival is probably Rutgers North.
Our rival team, which has basically been the 2 years I've been here, is Rutgers North, because it's right there. And every time, since I've been here, it's always been something. It's always been a tight game, close game. I think everybody agreed that game is usually the one that everybody gets hyped for.
After recovering from such a shaky start, a disappointing start, and the team rallying to qualify for the NJAC tournament with an above 500 record, the Knights lost to Richard Stockton in the NJAC quarterfinals. It was a disappointing loss because they had a long winning streak going at that point. But with such a young team making their first appearance in the postseason, they really had nothing to be ashamed of. They still qualified for the ECAC tournament. In the first round of the tournament, they upset NYU for the 2nd time this year. Early in the year, when they were not doing well, they actually beat NYU. They were ranked in the top 25 in the country in New York City, went back there for the ECAC quarterfinals as the 6th seed, and went to the ECAC semifinals again by beating NYU before losing to the eventual champion, Old Westbury, in the semifinal round. So it was a really good year, finished with 15 victories. and a lot to build on.
They're just like sons of mine that we can talk and chat. They call me Pop Brown, so you know it's good. You know, and it has allowed me to move away after 41 years of coaching, not just to stop. It's allowed me to just move away, and each year it gets a little bit easier for me because I spent a lot of time coaching. So just to be allowed to be around the program to watch the kids play, I don't bother my son in terms of trying to give him any information of what to do unless he asks me what my opinions are. We talk all the time. We talk all the time, and if he asks me for my advice, I'll give it to him, or I might say something that I saw that maybe he possibly didn't think of, and so forth. And to be honest with you, most of the time when I say these things, he's already thought about it.
When you come here and you play NJC basketball, it's family, and a lot of people say it, but it's really meant. Because not only are you family on the court just because you play, but at any time, if you need anything, you can call somebody and they'll do what they can for you. They do as much as they can for you to help you get to where you need to be.
My oldest son makes most of the games. When I practice, sometimes I bring him in. He just started playing. He's 7. I try not. My father didn't force basketball on me. He likes soccer also. My wife's Brazilian, so that's probably the Brazilian side of the family. But yeah, he's really into basketball now, and that'd be an unbelievable story if he decided to be a coach one day and took over for me. That means the program would be depending on how long I'm here, the program could be in the Brown family for a long time.